Welcome back. I'm a little sick, so I might be coughing throughout this video, but I'll do my best to try to hold it in. So we're trying a new, I'm doing a video with my camera now, which is the Sony A7 III, and I'm using a lavalier mic, so the video image and sound might be different than previous videos, but what we have today is the DRO from AliExpress. I just came in today. I think it was about $75 for this. It came with the DRO, the magnet pickup, and then 1 meter of magnet strip, and then instructions. So today we'll be opening this up and taking a look at it. So this looks to be a M51E model. It's a 2-channel, which is basically all I need it for. I think they have single channel and 3 channels, but 2 is what I'll need. So looks like there's a couple wire holders here, and then you get the unit itself. Button has a decent click to it, if you could hear that. And then there's no actual way to mount this aside from cutting a hole, if you could see here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll measure it up, and then I'll just 3D print a kind of a mount, and I'll probably mount it above my power button for the lathe. So you have an option of running batteries, or you could run a direct power, which here it says DC between 12 and 24 volts. So I'll see what kind of power supplies I have laying around. I'll just probably take an old power converter and cut the wires and then just hardwire it into here, so then I can plug this into a regular outlet. And then aside from that, you have the 2 magnetic pickups here, and then you could bolt it in. I think what I'm going to try to do first is just hot glue it to my lathe. I'll just clean off all the oil where I plan to mount it, and then I'll try hot gluing it, and we'll see how well that holds up. If it doesn't hold up well, then we'll just drill into the lathe and just tap it in, or tap and bolt it down. And then this magnetic strip, I don't know how well how good this adhesive is, but we'll see. And then yeah, you have the instructions right here. So I've never used a DRO before. I'm excited to try it out, and this one seems pretty straightforward. I chose this one just because you could tape on this magnet strip versus other ones where you have to mount it, and then this one seems pretty easy to mount too. So let me show you how I plan to mount it. So for one of the magnets, I'll mount it here. So usually you would, I think, put the pickup sensor on the part that's moving, and then have your magnet strip on the fixed location. But since there's a bolt here and then some other things on this side, what I think I'll do is I'll have my pickup sensor mounted here, and then I'll have my magnet strip mounted along the carrier here, if that makes any sense. And then let me try to show you the back side here. So here's the back side, and then I'll probably put the pickup on here on my my saddle. There you go. And then I'll have the magnet strip just on the back of the unit. So should be pretty easy. We'll do the hot glue, see how long that stays, and then the whole DRO unit will be right up here after I 3D print a holder for it. The wires will be pretty long, so I'll probably just wind it up behind the DRO, and then have just enough hang down here to where I could get full movement. But yeah, so let's get to installing these, and then we'll work on doing the mount for this later. So first thing I'm going to do is get in here with some acetone, and I'll wipe it along the edges that I'll be gluing to and taping onto, so I could make sure I get all the oil off, and we'll get good adhesion when we try to tape everything down or hot glue everything down. So I just use a towel here. I already wiped most of the area down with the brush to get all the metal shavings out of the way. And then now just work around here slowly with some acetone. And acetone will dry up your skin pretty quick, so I'm just using a glove to help protect my hands. But I'm not wearing a latex glove, and I believe latex is resistant to acetone, so then this glove will eventually get eaten up from the acetone also. So got that wiped down. Now I'll go and move my saddle here, and then I'll just work behind the unit. So yeah, the paint's coming off. Acetone does eat paint also, but and then I'll make sure whatever I end up touching on accident with acetone, such as the parts where things slide together, I'll have to re-grease that. So just wiping along here, and then just get in under there where I'll be mounting the pickup too. Well, that should be good. So okay, so for the sensor pickups, I decided I'll try to see if I could take this saddle off, and then I'll end up drilling and tapping, since it'll be a better or more secure fit in the long run. I think the only issue with getting this off though is that we have this this wall back here, and it's going to prevent me from actually taking the slide off or disassembling it, because everything will end up hitting this backstop here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, I might be able to just, I know there's one bolt over here that holds it in, and then there's like two over here, but ideally if I don't have to take it off, that would be great. So we'll see. But I think if I take this bolt off on this side for the backstop, I might be able to just bend it enough to slide this completely off the rail to the right. So we'll start by, actually this needs to go forward, and then I'll start by loosening these two bolts, and this basically holds the saddle onto the feed screw. So once I get that off, I should be able to just slide the saddle back and forth along the rail on its own. So I mean, if this backstop wasn't in the way, taking the saddle off would have been super quick. So let's see, there you go. Alright, so that's half of it. Actually, I think if I just unbolt these three Allens down here, which keeps the saddle held down, I think I could just lift it straight up after that. So let's take a look. This one was loose anyway, so I do have to do some maintenance onto this saddle anyways to readjust everything. And I think with the Allen down here that holds this saddle in place, it's so close to the speed screw that I remember I actually cut an Allen wrench shorter just so I could fit it in there. So let me take a look here. Should have it in my Vevor toolbox. So I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone has a bunch of these little Allen keys everywhere that comes with almost everything you buy that needs assembly. So all I did was just cut this end a little bit shorter, so then I could fit it under here. So now this holder off. So that's that, and there we go, slides off. So this one's also loose. I'll probably tighten this up or just snug it up a little bit. Then we'll check the tolerance of this later, make sure that it's not biting too hard. And then you can see here on the bottom side that it has a good amount of metal shavings from work, so I'll clean all that up before I put it back together. Now that the slide's off, I'll go ahead and remove this cross slide here. It just gives me more space to work with. So it does seem to get tighter too, so I'll probably end up just backing these out too, just for the, so I could disassemble and assemble it easier, and then I'll have to just retune everything when I put everything back together. Okay. And this lathe has only about 10 hours of service on it, so things shouldn't be that worn out. But I guess it'll be a good time to kind of practice maintenance on it anyways. And then yeah, we'll just give this a little wipe down, try to clean out any metal shavings, and we also have our brush that we can use to get in there if needed. Okay. Alright, now we'll head over to the drill press. Alright, so I have the saddle mounted up in the vise here. I did have to remove my compound slide, the one that I use for my drill press, from the base, because since I'm using a smaller drill bit, I need to raise up the whole unit in order to reach. So what I'm going to do now is secure the compound slide to the table on the vise, just so it doesn't move when I start drilling. But I did mark off where I need to drill, and then got the drill bit that I think is going to be the right size for tapping the hole, and I hit it with the hole punch. So I think I'm just going to see if I can get away with mounting only one bolt onto the compound slide, just because it's going to be a temporary setup. Yeah, it holds fine. So this is just going to be mounted here so I could drill these holes, and then I'll have to take it apart shortly after. So let's find out where. Looks like right there, and then I'll add just a touch of cutting oil on, and we'll drill in roughly, I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. So on my drill press there's a little gauge here that shows the depth. Let me see if I could, right there. So I'll probably go in about a 1/4 inch. Okay. Got that one. And the nice thing about this compound slide is that now I can move the axis that I have the first hole on in a straight line, so my second hole would be lined up pretty good. So now we got the second hole in place. Just wipe off the shaving just to make sure. Just a little off, there we go. So oops. Right there. And same with this one, we'll go about the same depth. I just went a little over 1/4 inch. Alright, and there's our 2 holes. Now, let's see, leave the bit in there for now, and then I'll just undo this, slide it out. Oops. So, there's our 2 holes, and then I'll just hit it with the tap for the correct thread pitch. And then here's the other part. This is the one that we'll be doing the sensor on also. So with this, I think I'm gonna mount it this way. I'm gonna use the top of the vise as my guide. Actually, that's going to be too high, so I guess I'm just going to lay it on the bottom of the vise here. So it's right there, and then same thing, I use this compound slide to position it. Okay. And this piece of metal is a lot thinner, so I guess we'll actually measure it, see how thick it is, and then we'll determine how much we want to drill. So it's 0.26, which is slightly over 1/4 inch, so we'll just do 1/4 inch exactly onto here. Let's see, touch off there. All right. And then second hole. And that's it. So with this, the first one I went just under 1/4 inch, which was fine. The second one I went exactly 1/4 inch, punched through it. So guess I'll just do this by hand, and actually no, I don't want to do that because I could oval the hole. It's a bad idea. So we'll just leave it like that. So yeah, got our holes drilled. Now we'll tap it and mount the sensors on. So one thing I forgot to mention is, since we are screwing the sensors into our cross slide, these sensors actually come threaded, and we don't need it threaded, so all I'm going to do is just run a slightly bigger drill bit through these, because these are threaded for M4. So I'm just going to drill out the threads so the bolt could slide right through it, and then it'll be threading into the actual slide that we're mounting it to. So I'm just going to pick a bit that's slightly larger than M4, and then I'll punch those through on the drill press too. So now we're just going to use an M4x7 tap, and we'll tap some holes onto here. So I'm just using a drill on low speed to do my taps. We're not tapping too deep, so I typically just use a drill just for it being a lot faster than doing it by hand. But if you are using a drill, just be careful with how fast you are and not to tighten the bit too hard, because if it does bite, you don't want to break it. So I have the bit or the tap usually on the loose side, so it'll spin, just to give me some extra safety in case I do tighten it too hard. And then now we're just gonna test fit this. And there's one. And this one will be facing the inside of the slide. There you are. So here's our sensors mounted up. We mounted it with the bolts or screws, if you want to call it that. So then it won't, I mean, it'll hold a lot better than the hot glue option, which I would have totally done, but I feel like at this point I should just do it right the first time and not have to go back and do it again. So now we got that on. I'll just do a little bit of cleanup of the vise and then reinstall everything and try out the DRO. Okay, and now we're done. So we put the magnet in the back, mounted the sensor in back with the tapped holes that we made. In the front we end up having to hot glue it for now because I lined up the sensor to this cross line and I pushed it all the way up against it when I marked my holes, but I forgot to account for the thickness of this magnet strip. So I ended up, this was too close to the magnet strip. I wasn't even able to screw it down. I tried to bore out the screw holes to be able to pull it back a little bit, but that wasn't enough. So I ended up just doing hot glue for this one, but it seemed to be holding pretty good. I cleaned up all the oil and then applied the hot glue. So yeah, here we go. And then here's the DRO. It's wired directly to a power connector, and then that just runs into the house power, so it's on whenever I plug it in and the battery won't run out. So yeah, I just want to show you, here's the DRO in action, and then if I move this you'll also see the numbers change. So it's pretty cool. I haven't checked it with any machining yet, so I'm excited to tear it apart and see how accurate this is. There's instructions on doing some changes if I need to, but we'll see how that works out first. So yeah, I'm excited. This lathe is coming together pretty nice, and hopefully it'll be able to make me some products or be able to test fit some things in the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. See you, everyone.